I didn't say. This is a bit, oops, nope, wait. You know what I'm here for? I just missed you guys and I wanted to come back and talk. But my hip's in pain. Maybe if I just sit like this, that's better. Ah, you're so intimidating, especially when I haven't seen you in a long time. And it's not just you, it's everyone. Don't worry, don't take it personally. I've tried to film this video already and I was just putting on makeup, but my teeth were so yellow. So I couldn't keep editing it. I was just like, I have yellow teeth. Okay, actually, let me introduce myself. Let me not introduce myself because this is my channel. I'm not new here. If you are... Oh, my moles. They're gone. So I had 4 removed, 3 on my back, 1 on my hip. And it was all smooth sailing, right? I mean, I couldn't really move for a while, maybe a week. I didn't shower. I did try once. I don't want to live up to my name in the wrong way. I cannot stink. I don't want to. I want to smell like this one perfume that my aunt used to use when she visited me once. It smells like cotton candy. I don't want to have a signature scent if it's not pink sugar. I also got a cotton candy machine when I was 8. There was no screw missing, so a bunch of hot sugar flew everywhere. And it's made for kids. But even the most inexpensive things shouldn't be a safety hazard. Well, nothing should be a safety hazard if you're paying for it. Guns. My phone did a thing. I actually don't want to continue with this sentence because I don't know what I'm talking about. Geek. My dad and I both have this habit in common that if we hear something that sounds like a fact, we hold on to it accidentally. And now we have a bunch of like facts built up in our brain. Wildlife documentaries are trustworthy, right? So I have those. He has like, well, I think he also has first-hand experience in the wild. A common theme of mine when I was younger, a big habit was telling everyone about my dad. In past tense, I would talk to my friends about my dad. Friends. I was in primary school. I went through phases. At first, I didn't really talk at all. One of the first people I met told me 4 years later that they thought I was really weird when they first met me. Because I was 6, 7. How do 7-year-olds judge character? I didn't think I was that weird. I thought I was just like kind of quiet. I did lack self-awareness at the age of 6. I'd like to blame the fact that I'm autistic on the fact that people thought I was weird. Yeah, I actually am gonna blame that. None of my friends call me weird. Like my close friends, I have like 3 friends. Because having friends is so tiring. I need to focus on my energy on a select amount of friends. And I've chosen 3. Sorry. Okay, I'm just going to rant about autism now. Oh yeah, my dad. I'll get back to that later, remind me. You can't... Okay, well, I'm just going to preface this by saying this is my experience. I don't really know how other people experience it. I mean, it's different for every person. Oh my goodness. Every time you do the little scratchy thing, ratos, you make me feel like there's a mini helicopter going off. Starting up. When with autism, socializing doesn't really come naturally at all. It requires so much thinking and so many like different parts of the brain. It just takes so much. I don't know how it comes naturally to people. I don't, because most of the time what I do, what you have to do is constantly like analyze things. It's memorizing. So every time I meet a new person, I have to kind of learn how other people interact with them and how they converse and learn the conversation patterns. And that's so overwhelming. So meeting new people is very hard, especially when you're alone. I don't know why people leave me alone. I don't go places alone that are dangerous. It's always with someone that can look after me. But it's sometimes I do. At the beginning of the year, I was just going to a tattoo studio and like kind of shadowing. I don't know, I was just there. And I was supposed to like ask questions. And it was so bad. Not only was it so difficult to talk to the those people, just someone that's here, just sitting, not really doing anything, asking questions. I did run out of questions. It was a bunch of asking questions about tattooing, which I already knew, and then asking like questions about people's lives. I'm so all over the place. I cannot be coherent. I feel when I watch my videos, I realize how much I don't make sense because I'm jumping all over the place because I'll get a thought and I'll just go, oh, I need to say this. And then I'll forget what I was talking about before and then I go on another tangent. So my way of trying to control that is trying to speak slower and really think. But then my videos are so long and I speak so slowly that it's boring. Backtrack, reverse. What was I saying? Before? Okay, so this is how I have a conversation with people. I go, and then I say, what was I saying? And then they tell me what I was saying. You cannot do that. I am all alone here. I do have you guys, but not presently. I can just look back through a vast little, through a lens. Oh yes, it was the worst place. But I also liked going there because I thought that I was like, it was a way for me to do something, to practice socializing. Because when I don't do it for a bit, I forget how to do it. I forget how conversations work and I have to relearn everything. And that is so stressful. It literally feels like when I have a break, it feels like I age backwards. It's like I just go back to being a child and then I have to relearn everything again. I don't, especially with the pandemic, like I don't really see people that often. But I don't see people that often anyway. Like most of the, sometimes I can go like 2 months without seeing anyone except my family members. I really want to go snorkeling. Guys, do you want to hear me say something in French? Okay, here. As-tu déjà fait de la plongée avec tuba? As-tu déjà fait de la plongée avec tuba? That sounded okay. I'm still learning. Okay, back to the tattoo studio. I had constant breakdowns and meltdowns, and I tried not to. Oh, one of my favorite things to do is sit in the car and I just listen to music on my headphones because I like the movement. If you've been watching my channel, I did swing, so that was like a substitute for that, which is great, but I haven't been able to pluck up the courage to get back to do that again because I'm still kind of healing from, not physically, emotionally. I know no one saw me fall off that swing, but I am kind of not a child. I don't look like a child and I just go to the park and swing for hours and I can imagine that kind of looks a bit weird and then I fall. My pride was bruised and I got a concussion. It was awful though, because what happens when I hurt myself? I don't know what it is, but my tics, they want to hurt me more. Like when I walked into the wall a couple of weeks ago, it was so bad because I just kept hitting my nose over and over with my hand. It was painful. It's been okay with my moles. My ticks haven't like tried to hit them or anything, but that's because they don't hurt. Only when I kind of move or hit them, my hip one hurts because it's infected. But other than that, it's been fine. It's so gross. And I had to put like antiseptic on, like this red one that kind of looks like blood. And I remember it from when I used to do gymnastics when I was like 8, and someone would have like blood all over their knee, and I'd ask them, why? Well, when someone's hurt, you don't normally ask why. I think I asked, you are bleeding. That's not a question. Come on, improv. No, I wasn't that confident as a child. Oh my gosh, you're bleeding. What? You have so much blood on you. The like 7-year-old would turn around and be like, no, that's monkey blood. That's so much worse. But I did learn eventually. It's a very South African thing. Oh, maybe it was just my gymnastics class thing. But everyone referred to it as monkey blood, and I just had to get used to that. And I was like, that's so gross. And I really did think it was monkey blood for a very long time, but it wasn't. It was just a name that they called the antiseptic because it looks like blood. It's like disgusting. It's so gross. And I had to put that on, which made it look like I was bleeding. But then I was actually bleeding a little. My Nesquik. I left my strawberry Nesquik outside. I was going to sip it while talking. Well, I wouldn't have. Oh, I can't even show you my owl mug. My owl mug is the only mug I drink out of. It's a purple owl mug, and it's the only cup I drink out of. And I'm in charge of it. One time my mom put it in the dishwasher and I felt really sad. I try not to make a big deal out of those things. I'm getting better at it. Am I? Because in the dishwasher, it always gets those things that like stick to it. Didn't freak out. Like I did cry. But I tried to be subtle about it. That was kind of a while ago. But none of us really can tell time anymore. Except for how frequently I upload videos. Because sometimes I'll be really good and I'll upload kind of frequently-ish. Like maybe once a week. Sometimes twice. No. I've never uploaded a full-length video twice in 1 week. They don't look pink in real life. I'll get back to the tattoo studio just now. There's the Black Ops 2 case. And now I haven't uploaded in like 2-ish weeks, I think. I wake up and I go to where my mother is because she gets up really early to work. I go find her and I tell her stuff. Yesterday morning, I spent about half an hour explaining David Dobrik to her. David Dobrik. Well, I don't want to say I resent anyone, but I do. I don't like him at all. I'm not going to cry because I brought up David Dobrik. My eyes are just a little bit watery. Oh my gosh, I sometimes feel like when people kind of speak fast, or if they're trying to speak and their voice is kind of like jittery, it sounds like they're about to cry. And I get so uncomfy, and I don't know what it is, but sometimes it just happens. Your voice just kind of goes like that, and it sounds like you're about to tear up. It kind of sounded like that now, but I think I just got like a bunch of gas in my... I don't burp, so like the gas constantly goes like this. Oh, I just got goosebumps. Oh, turn around. Okay, there's this thing. I'll show you. Dot, dot, line. Spider crawling up your spine. Cat scratch, dog bite. Now you got an itch, you bite. Cool breeze. Lemon squeeze. Now you got the heebie-majeebies. I never know how to end that off. But I think that's how it goes. Okay, you can turn back around. if you don't know what's going on with David Dobrik, I mean, I think it's a pretty hot topic at the moment, but you know, I'll link videos down in the description anyway. Okay, I will talk about the tattoo studio now in my life. Music. I used to tick a lot while I was there because I was kind of anxious all the time. But what made it so much worse is they'd play music really loudly. So first of all, I was so overwhelmed because there's so many different noises. The whole like thing it was honestly the worst place I could be. But I tried to stick it out because I wanted to be like, yes, I can do things. I can go out into the real world and I can do things for myself. I'm going to do it. It was just literally just going to a tattoo studio and sitting there, not doing anything. All the windows, there was like no curtains or anything, so like they just had like white wall and then there was windows like that. It was quite small. It was always really hot. So it was light, sound, it was hot. And I felt as well, because they told me when I first got there that you've got to be careful about what you wear because people can be a bit touchy and stuff. So you got to be careful with like wearing skirts and like short shorts or crop tops or anything kind of revealing. And I was like, now I'm scared. So I used to wear a lot, kind of. I tried to cover up. And when I get overwhelmed and I get, it's like a sensory overload and I start panicking, I need to do anything to just like, I tie up my hair, like I put an Alice band on, I tie up my hair, I have to make sure all my hair stuff is not touching me. I take off all my clothes. I take off all my clothes and I tend to put like a dressing gown on, so something that's like comfy. And I can't, nothing irritating can be touching me, and I have to be alone, but I have to know that there's someone, there's someone that can help if I need it. So I'm not alone, but I don't want anyone watching me because I'm vulnerable. And also, I just feel like I don't want, especially with like tic tacs as well, I feel so bad when I do that. I know it's not my fault. I have no control over it, but I don't want to make anyone in my life who cares about me worried, ever. But that's impossible. But it was honestly a really bad kind of environment. I just shouldn't have stuck it out so long. Now apparently 2 artists have left, and there's only a piercer and the one tattoo artist there who was like always kind of nice to me, and he's the one who owns the place. I don't know, he was the one that tried to like help in a sense. Like he didn't know especially what was going on, but he was really like nice about my Tourette's and stuff. And he always like, even if I was awkward and weird, like if he spoke to me and I didn't respond, he would keep on. He wouldn't get offended or anything. Sometimes I'll just not respond. I won't be able to speak to you. If you speak to me, sorry. I used to sit in class. I remember when I was in high school. When I was in school, I used to sit in class. Like I went to like this really academic girls' high school. I used to sit in class and I'd be really worried that I was going to be talked to, asked questions and stuff. I'm sure everyone kind of has that anxiety to a certain extent, unless you don't. Like I always had something like physical kind of wrong with me as well, so I always used that as an excuse for when I was having like a meltdown, because I did MMA. My dad encouraged me to do self-defense and stuff, so I was like, yeah, MMA, I'll do it. But I hated it because you have to grapple, which is like wrestling. A lot of like, there wasn't that many girls, neither were there many people my age. So I would grapple with grown men, and it was so uncomfortable because I don't like being touched, and I hate like being touched, especially when it's not with someone like I know. And like, I was able to kind of shut that off when I knew it was like grappling and it was like, it's a sport. But there's some points, like when you're like in a chokehold and stuff with like a man with huge biceps, it feels weird. I was like 13 and it's so overwhelming, and you have to tap out so that they know when to stop. And one time I just froze up and I didn't. And it went really far and it was bad. And a lot of times that did happen where I forgot to tap out and I end up getting injured, or there was like an accident or something. But one time I was in like grade 8, and my English teacher asked me a question, but I didn't, like when she said it to me, I couldn't speak. And she asked it again and like in a different way, and then she like tried to like explain it. It was nice that she was trying to do that, but I couldn't reply. And I started crying. But I didn't want anyone to see because like everyone was kind of looking at me because I wasn't responding or anything. I like bent down to get my bag to search for my inhaler so that it looked like I was just like kind of, so I was doing that, but I couldn't, I was like taking a long time because I knew my inhaler wouldn't really help in that situation. Kept digging and digging, and she's just like, it was so long, it went through so long, but then she eventually asked someone else the question, but we were sitting like that for minutes. But after class she made me stay back and she's like, okay, I need you to go see the counselor. And then I was like, yes. And I'd already gone to see the counselor before because one of my other teachers told me to do it. With this one, she was very nice and like soft-spoken. I actually saw her at the tattoo studio once. She was coming in for a piercing, and I was like, she was also one of my teachers. Like, she was a counselor and a teacher. I went the first time, and it just kind of, it never had a conclusion. You'd always just sit down, talk, and then you'd go. You like pour your heart out. Well, I didn't pour my heart out. I just kind of spoke a bit. I mean, yeah, talking does help. It could help with some people, but it doesn't help when you're in school, especially because she was one of my teachers as well. I felt like it wasn't as confidential. I mean, obviously she's professional because it's like her job, but it happened before in primary school where it didn't remain in the room and it got to like the principal. It never felt safe, ever. So the second time this happened, where my English teacher told me to go see a counselor, I actually was going to go, but I forgot about it because most of the time when school ends, I need to go somewhere because I never got picked up early. I would always stay because school ended at about like 2:45, sometimes 2:30, and I'd stay until about like 5:05, 6. Luckily, there was like the grounds of the school was quite big because it was kind of like a posh girls' school. I don't even know how I got in there. I found places and like that I could isolate myself and kind of, really did dread, like I dread school, and then I'd be like, school's over, and then I dread having to sit there on the school grounds for a couple hours trying to like pass the time. When everyone gets out, there's so many people, so I have to kind of rush to find somewhere that I can sit. Like, that was always the first thing on my mind, was finding a place where there was no one else. Like, at first, like, I did have friends, so I did hang out with them for a bit, like the first like 20 minutes, half an hour, and I had like a couple friends that did stay later. But a lot of the time I did just want to be alone. I mean, I really liked those friends, but I do like a lot of people. I just don't like myself, apparently. I just gotta conserve my energy, and it takes a lot out of you to have a lot of friends when you don't know how to socialize. Because every time school ended, I just tried to find that place. And so I forgot to go to the counselor because you could only go after school. About a week later, my English teacher keeps me back after class, and she says, I hear you haven't gone to the counselor. She said something along the lines of, like, there will be consequences if I don't go. I don't know. She really wanted me to go, and I know it's for my benefit. So that was nice. But also, I didn't feel like being forced. But I went to a different school, and it was like a private school. It was very small, and it wasn't actually a registered school. It's just, I think it is now. I don't know, because I don't go there either. I liked it because I found nice friends. My 3 friends I met there, like my 3 friends that I've kind of chosen to spend all my energy on. I had a really bad relationship with my biology teacher, and like her son also was a teacher there. He didn't even teach me. He taught me math for like a term. It's your job as a teacher to be really level-headed and mature. You can't show frustration. You can't show your frustration, basically. It must be so hard to be a teacher, but you've got to be so professional and mature. You can't take things personally as a teacher. And you just got to control your anger and stuff. In my experience, the teachers I liked the most, they were just kind, and it just felt non-threatening, and it didn't feel scary to be in their class. I don't want to be saying how someone should do their job, because obviously, what do I know? And both these teachers aren't there anymore. So it was her and then her son who were both teachers, and she always made comments about my autism, but like I was like, oh, she doesn't really know that much about it, and I don't think that it's my place to. I mean, obviously, I will be up to if anyone has any questions about autism or anything, I will be more than happy to go in depth about it. For my friends, I know, like, I always want to make my friends really comfortable, and part of that is by explaining in detail what I need from them if I'm not okay, and how they can help me so that they feel comfortable and they feel like they know what they can do. There was points where, like, kind of the comments about my autism from my biology teacher would get a little bit like, oof. But I mean, I never really took it to heart. I just kind of didn't like her classes because of it. Because I felt like I was being taught by someone who thought they knew more about autism than I did, even though I am autistic. And she was like recommending things as if she was doing it in a sense of like, she was recommending me like documentaries for biology and stuff. She was doing that, but for autism. Her son was worse because one time I wasn't a very good student at that point. I wasn't doing much work. I was far behind on things. I was trying to keep up, but I'd go through phases of just not being able to do anything, and I'd just fall into like a depressive period of time. Obviously, they expect you to work, and obviously they're teachers, so they need you to hand things in. And I was doing it, but my work wasn't that good, and sometimes I'd miss things, and sometimes I felt like, because when I get really stressed, it tends to affect me physically. So I just couldn't walk properly, and I was dizzy, but I'm dizzy all the time, but I was really dizzy. So it was on the 3rd floor because it was a small building, but I had 3 layers, so I couldn't get up to the 3rd floor to my biology class. I hated going to the classes because I knew she'd say something about me, and she'd like talk about me, because I know that the teachers talk about students, and I knew they talked about me because I wasn't a very good student. I knew that they did it because her son, the teacher, called me into his office one day, and I go there, and he basically says to me that they've given up on me and they don't care what I do now. It's a little bit weird for a teacher to say to a student that they've given up, because he wasn't like, I gave up on you. He was like, we give up on you. One time I did have like a meltdown at school, and I was not able to get up to the 3rd floor because I passed out. Like, my friends were helping me up, because I was shaking and stuff, and my friends were helping me up the stairs, and I passed out. And we eventually got up to the 3rd floor because I was being called, because my friend went to go excuse me from class, from my bio class, and she came back down and she said that the teacher doesn't accept that I need to go up and excuse myself, or I need to come to the lesson because I've missed other lessons. And I was like, okay. I went up, and when I got up there, she was like, no, I need to call your parents. And I started freaking out. What happened was, one of my friends, we went into this room that was like not occupied, and I was like crying. She was like, the 2 teachers, bio teacher and her son, pulled us into like their office or something, like a room, and like discussed me. We've given up on her. We're hoping that she's going to leave. But we don't want her to drag you 2 down with her. I said it to my friends, and I was really ashamed and embarrassed. And I was like, I am putting my friends through so much. Sorry, this is so long. I mean, this is not even going to be relevant to anyone's life. I'm just like telling you about my life, but if you wanted to know. And this isn't even what I'm really... That was terrifying. This isn't one of my light-hearted, funny videos. I moved on from the teacher thing now, I guess. I think that they weren't very good in general. I don't know if it's like people or teachers. I don't want to say that. I'm just going to say they're not good. Oh, do you guys want to see my monkey pictures? I'll put ooh. Guys, I'd like to know if you prefer Godzilla or King Kong. If you don't follow that universe, that's okay. I will link a video in the description. It will be a few minutes long. I asked my dad what he thought. He feels sorry for King Kong because he's a monkey. And I was like, yes, he might be a monkey, but he's kind of like not. Then if King Kong's a monkey, Godzilla's a crocodile. I don't know, my dad's had some run-ins with crocodiles that weren't positive, so maybe that's not a good example. My dad has met crocodiles. I think I've run out of time, and by that I mean my camera's about to die. Oh, I can do this. Wait. I have to do this. I watched it on Fanboy and Chum Chum. It happens with like cut, okay? It's an animated show, so obviously it's kind of unrealistic. My camera died. I miss you guys already.